The following program is a Town of Colonie television production of the William K. Sanford Town Library.
Hi, my name is Diane, Conroy-LaCivita, and I'm the Executive Director of Colonie Senior Service Centers. And I'm thrilled to be offering these periodic television shows geared around our organization, what programs we have, and the resources available to seniors in our community and really around the Capital Region. The organization was started in 1981, so we've been around many years. Oftentimes, people confuse us with the town of Colonie. Although we do work collaboratively with them, we are an independent, nonprofit organization with many, many different programs to offer. So it's really my honor today to introduce one of my coworkers, one of my colleagues, Sue Napierski. And Sue is in charge of two of our initiatives, our Rsvp program, Retired Senior Volunteer Program, that stands for, and all of our volunteer initiatives above and beyond what we do as an organization. So I'm really honored to have you with us today. Would you like to go on a little further in regards to what we do offer for volunteerism?
Sure. We have a lot of volunteer opportunities through Colonie Senior Service Centers itself, at the Beltron Living Center or surrounding area of Beltron, and through the Retired and Senior Volunteer Program. We cover Albany, Rensselaer, and Schenectady counties, and we work with 55 organizations throughout those counties that have volunteer opportunities for individuals 55 and over.
So when we talk about volunteerism, what does that do to a senior? Maybe somebody's recently retired or has gotten in that rut where they're kind of stay at home.
It gets them out, it keeps them engaged, it socializes them with other seniors, and it makes them feel a part of a bigger picture. And it gives a lot of our seniors a purpose and a redirection in their life from when they've retired and had a structure. Schedules are flexible. Most of the organizations work with the volunteers to find what's going to meet their needs, and it just provides a little bit of fun in their day.
So when we talk about RSVP and we talk about stations, can you tell us the numbers of stations and what is a station?
A station is any non-for-profit proprietary healthcare organization that has opportunities for volunteers 55 and over, and they sign a memorandum of understanding and they work with us under RSVP, and we assist them with recruiting volunteers for their certain projects or events and community needs. And we currently have 55, and then we also collaborate with other organizations, maybe the City of Albany, the VA Hospital. We collaborate with those organizations on doing special projects and where we bring some volunteers in for those special projects.
And they actually have job descriptions, correct?
They do. A volunteer job description is totally different than an employee job description. A volunteer should never replace an employee. So there are separate job descriptions that we have that the volunteers receive, and we go over with them when they come in to see what they would like to do.
Can you tell us some of the volunteer opportunities that people are currently doing through RSVP?
We have volunteers that work for the Red Cross. They're either involved with emergency preparedness, the blood drives, or they drive blood to various areas throughout New York State. We have volunteers that work in our food pantries, deliver Meals on Wheels. We also have volunteers that are in hospital settings, working in labs or with doing data entry work, in the gift shop, helping consumers that come in to see people, or information desks at their various hospitals. Gosh, we have them all over. I'm trying to think of all.
Well, I know when I go to the airport.
Yes, we have about over 60 volunteers at the airport that assist with people finding their gates, getting to the TSA lines. They also have therapy dogs and pigs at the airport, and those volunteers are responsible for bringing those pets in to help people acclimate a little bit better for their flight in or out.
So what are the requirements to be a volunteer? Do you have to be a certain age?
For Colony Senior Service Centers, no. We have junior volunteers, which would be age 14. We have college interns. We have student volunteers, young adult volunteers. For RSVP specifically, the individual needs to be 55 and over. They come in and interview, fill out an enrollment form. And then based on where they would like to go, we then take their enrollment form and send it to the organization that they're interested in following up with. And then the organization contacts them and meets them and gets them settled in a volunteer position.
Now, we have a couple upcoming events for RSVP. Would you mind describing those?
We do. Volunteers that are registered with RSVP get a recognition event each year, and that is going to be held in June. That is for all of our RSVP volunteers. We have a guest speaker, and they have a nice lunch, and they get recognition for the hours that they've worked. We also have a volunteer opportunity fair coming up on the 27th of June, which will be at the Hearst Media Center, which is on Albany Shaker Road. And that's a community event. Individuals from the community can come in. And last year we had 42 of our stations present. And the stations set up, and they're all under one roof, and it's one-stop shopping. And the community member comes in and goes to those tables where they want to find out more information about that organization and what volunteer opportunities they have available.
So RSVP is really a federal initiative, correct?
It is. It is a federal grant through the Corporation for National and Community Service, and it was awarded to us for 3 years. We are the sponsor for that grant, and we have it for another 3 years, so we'll have it for a total of 6 years.
Now, I've been with the organization a little over a year, and we've had, in my time, a really wonderful couple of success stories of people coming in at a loss for some reason, and honestly, you've turned their lives around. Do you mind sharing maybe a couple of those examples?
Sure. We had one volunteer who had in her mind what she wanted to do, wasn't really sure. We met with her quite a number of times, and she decided she wanted to have a current events group. And so she would be transported by our transportation service, come to Beltran. We had the group started. And one day she stopped me and she said, "Thank you so much for giving me my purpose." So that was something that she really wanted to do, and we found that niche for her. And we've had some people come in who are newly retired, who don't have a routine any longer, and they're looking to fill that time. And so we try to take baby steps for them to find a new hobby or a new volunteer opportunity that they might not even have known about. And not to force all at one time, like volunteering 5 days a week, but maybe once or twice a week to start out slowly in a routine. And we've had some people who have lost spouses and have come in. They're very lonely, and they start coming to Beltran maybe and coming to lunch and meeting other people. We have a gentleman who greets our diners now when they come in and sits and talks with them and makes them feel welcome. So it's nice to find the right fit. It's almost like putting puzzle pieces together when you find the right fit for a person. And it makes them feel good because they're kind of in the driver's seat about what they want to do, and we just try to make that happen.
So if I'm interested in possibly volunteering, how can I get a hold of you?
I can be reached at Colony Senior Service Centers. My phone number is 518-459-2857, extension 308. And my email address is snapierski@colonyseniors.org. You can also register to volunteer online through our Colony Senior Service website. However, if you do that, just know you will still be coming in for an interview to meet with me, even though you've registered online, because we like to give you your job description and talk about what you'd be doing. So.
And one more time on that fair that's happening at the Hearst Media Center.
Yes, that's going to be June 27th, from 10 to 1, I believe, and you'll see advertisements about it. And we will have all of our stations, hopefully, most of them, under one roof, and people can come in and shop, and they can register that day to volunteer and talk to the representatives from the organizations. It's a great event.
Yeah.
I think we had 225 people last year that came through.
And how many of the stations came?
There were 42 stations, and at least almost all the stations got at least 1 to 2 volunteers that day, so it was really beneficial to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do have to say, out of all the programs that we offer at Colony Seniors, Sue is working with hundreds of individuals. There's that group that works just for Colony Senior, volunteers for Colony Seniors, and then hundreds of people who are involved with RSVP. And I don't know how you keep them all organized and all the stations organized, but it's really, I think you do an awful lot to change people's lives and perspectives, making them have a purpose.
Yes.
So I
hope
thank
so.
you.
Yes.
Thanks for being with us today, Sue.
Thanks, Diane.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome back. My name is Diane Conroy-LaCivita, and I'm with Colony Senior Service Centers. And we have another guest with us for this show, and that's Carolyn Barrett. She's our food coordinator at Colony Senior Service Centers. You wouldn't believe how busy this woman is. I'm thrilled. She's fairly new to the organization, and I'm thrilled to have her as our colleague and coworker. Welcome, Caroline.
Hi,
Hi.
thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you do as the food coordinator for Colony Senior Service Centers?
It's hard to describe in how many minutes do we have? It's so many different things. But most of the time that I spend at Colony Senior Service Centers is at lunch, having lunch with the seniors. I get to sit with them every day and be with them, talk and get to know people. So that's my first job, I think, is spending time with people. I decide what they're going to eat for lunch and for their special dinners. I schedule special events as far as music, and we have a lunch and learn program. I do a lot of other things, but they're not really that exciting. So those are the fun things that I get to do.
So on average, if I had to take a guess, we're serving about 25,000 lunches a year throughout our different programs. All of those lunches come out of the Beltran Living Center.
They do.
And who are they made by?
They're made by Mazzone Catering. And
So there are
John and his crew back there, our chef.
So they're busy. So our lunch program only operates Monday through Friday.
It does.
But we're serving beyond the Beltran, we're serving in other locations as well. Do you mind sharing that?
Yeah, we serve at Bishop Broderick 3 days a week. That's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We actually have a new lunch that we are serving at the Sakati Center, which is every Monday. We do every other Wednesday at King Theo. That's in Latham. And then we also have Sheehy Manor, which is every Thursday.
So those lunch programs, can anybody attend, and what's the requirements?
So anyone can attend. It's a $4 suggested donation. So we never turn anyone away. They can come and they can make a donation or just come. It's a senior luncheon, so it's a luncheon for people who are over 60 years old, but people bring their daughters or grandchildren sometimes, and then they pay just the regular fee, which is $8 if they're under 60. So we open our doors to everyone.
When we talk about special programs, you mentioned Lunch and Learns. Can you give us some more details about that?
Yes, absolutely. We just did a lunch and learn this week where we had Capital Roots, which is such an excellent organization, come and talk about what their organization does. They're a nonprofit, and they have 70 community gardens throughout Albany, Schenectady. I don't know if they go as far as Saratoga, but I had said to the man who came, sometimes they're kind of a tough audience. These people, if they don't want to sit and listen, then they won't. They could get up and leave. But they were so inspired by his story and what they do, how much they help the community, and you could hear a pin drop in there because it was so quiet and they were so interested in what he was doing, and so many people wanted to volunteer. for Capital Roots afterwards, it was a good match.
So you had the USS Slater recently, correct?
We had the USS Slater, which we have a lot of veterans. We have a lot of people who love history, and he told great stories about the ship and why it's here and where it came from and what it did. And he had a lot of pictures. So everybody really liked that as well.
That's great. So these lunch and learns, how many are you offering, say, on a monthly basis?
Well, we have done 2.
Okay.
And that seems like a good number.
All right.
To keep people kind of engaged and try and mix it up with different subject matters. And
I have to compliment you, the variety of speakers you've had in. You've had cultural, you've had historical, you had Professor DeNovo from the American Italian Heritage Museum talking about staying positive.
Right,
It's been
he
great.
stole our hearts. We love him. Yeah.
And it's great to do collaborative things with other nonprofits in the community, so that's great.
We have the Albany Pine Bush coming.
Oh.
And they are going to just talk about what they have to offer and what even for seniors, what you could do if you get over there.
Yeah. Anybody else besides the Albany Pine Bush?
We have the Albany Senior Orchestra coming, and so we're doing that as a lunch and learn because they aren't just doing a performance, but they're going to talk about the instruments and everything from the way an orchestra sets up and who's leading it and the ins and outs of it and the way that the instruments interact together, and then they'll also play for us. But that's a big group of people. I think it's maybe 50 people that come. So where we usually have one person who comes and speaks, this is a big group of people. So
Now you do entertainment a couple times a month, so above and beyond your lunch and learn.
We do. We do a special dinner once a month, and always on a Monday. It's usually the third Monday of the month.
Okay.
And we just had Donnie Elvis come, which was very entertaining for everyone. And he came running out in his white suit that was open down to his belly and big turquoise things stuck all over his suit. I don't even know what it was, but it was very funny. And he threw scarves to the ladies, and he was great. So that was a very fun event. So we try and do a lot of different kinds of musical entertainment. We do try and make everyone happy because not everyone likes country, but many people do. So we have some rock and roll, some country. Today, actually, we had a special lunch and we had an a cappella group, which they were really fun, and everyone was very engaged in that.
I actually got to hear a couple of their songs. They were great. They were wonderful.
They were fun.
And they took the time to show the audience how they harmonize.
They did, and they told jokes, which was very funny. and they sang some patriotic songs, and so it was really nice. I love when you get to see any kind of show, no matter who it is, and they talk on the stage, so that you get to hear a little bit of personality, and it's not just like someone walking out singing and then leaving, but they really showed us a lot of personality, and I think that our diners really connected with that as well. They liked hearing a little bit about them. There was someone who was talking about his wife and telling stories that went along with the music.
That's great. So how do you become a diner?
Well, you walk in.
Okay.
And we serve, all of our lunches are served at noon. So it's different than like a restaurant, because you come in, there's one meal that's being served each day, with the exception of the Zuccotti Center, which they serve their lunch at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
All of our lunches are served at noon. So if you make a reservation, you can always walk in. We don't turn people away unless for some reason we ran out of lunch, but we never turn anyone away. But we ask that people make a reservation the day before by noon. So you can call Colonie Seniors or any of the places where we offer lunch, make a reservation. Our program is subsidized by Albany County, and so we have a registration process. So it's a short amount of paperwork, and we're there to help people because, if they're confused by it or don't have their glasses, I usually have a pair on my head, and I usually have a couple pairs. So we help people with the registration process, and then they make a donation and they sit down. And a really important piece about the lunches that we serve is that it's a congregate meal. So people sometimes are a little shy to come in at first, and so we, like I take them by the hand and find a spot for them to sit. And as soon as they sit down, we have people who've been eating with us for years and years, and they're like our ambassadors, and they just take people under their wing, and there's a lot of good banter that goes back and forth and talking, and it is it's a very friendly place, I think.
It's funny, we had Sue on before you, and she was talking about volunteerism. And we talked about the gentleman who now is your greeter.
Oh, Mike Smith.
Yes, and really what a service he does for us.
Well, he's funny too, because he always, he's visually impaired, so he sits and he greets every person that comes in, helps them sign in, helps them with the registration process, but I will save him a seat, because he will sit past the time that everyone else sits. So I'll save him a seat, and he always says, Caroline, put me with a different group of people. I want someone new today. I want to make new friends. So he really likes to, reach out and talk to new people, and you really can. It's surprising how many new faces we have there every week. But he really does it well. He doesn't want to just sit with the same old people. He wants new faces.
That's great. In addition to being subsidized by Albany County, we do get some subsidies from the town of Colonie. So we're fortunate in that regard that both the county and the municipality recognize the importance of the lunch program, of the socialization, of the nutrition piece to this, the entertainment that we're now starting to share as well. If I was interested in doing the lunch program, how would I know what's for lunch?
Well, there are a few ways to know. We publish a menu, a monthly menu, in our Senior Connections newsletter, which goes out to anyone who wants it. It already goes out to many people in our county, or I think it goes to different counties. But if you call, we can put you on the mailing list.
Okay.
And so we can send you that. We also print menus and we post them at all of our congregate sites, and we will have it on our website soon.
What's the minimum age to sign up for lunch?
So it is for seniors who are 60 and over.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So now you do all of the deciding of the menu every day, the entree and so forth. How do you go about choosing what's for lunch?
So our menu rotates, and it's on a 6-month cycle. And within those 6 months, it rotates every 6 weeks. So we have 6 weeks worth of menus, and then it goes to a new 6 weeks worth of menus. We just today started a new menu cycle, and it was a lot of work putting together the new menu. I worked very closely with Albany County dietitian, because for me, there were some things that are very important to me in the menu process, and there are some things that are very important to them. So we had to work together, which we did very well. And I really, in changing the menu and making a new menu, I really wanted our lunches to be about coming out and having something that you're not going to make for yourself at home. So, of course you're coming out to socialize and meet people, but I want to provide a really delicious meal, and something that even if it's, a rainy Tuesday afternoon, feels a little bit like a celebration.
That's nice. Give us some samples of maybe some new menu items.
So we are going to have a oregano and lemon Greek chicken that will come with sautéed summer squash and an orzo salad. I fought very hard to add more desserts. I feel like we should have dessert. So there are some days, so it's very balanced as far as the amount of sodium, the calories, the fat content. That's something that is really taken into consideration. So there's some days we had to have fruit for dessert, but most days I said, these seniors want dessert. They do. So we added a lot of, cookies and just a small sweet thing after a really nice healthy meal.
That's great. Yeah, I want to mention that you also write for the Times Union.
I do.
In their food section. So when you're choosing menus and you have thoughts and suggestions, I think you have a lot of expertise in that regard.
Well, it's funny because where I come from and what I write about and what I teach and the food education that I've done, it's always centered around children. I really believe in, feeding children food that tastes good and is not processed. And I think that I took a lot of exactly the same principles that I use in my writing and how I feed my own family, and I tried to make that work with. And I think it does. I think it's, feeding people.
Now, another thing you've been really helpful with are our cooking classes.
Yeah, they're so fun. They're great. They're great. Yeah. Well, we did the Italian cooking class with Sharon, which was fantastic, and then we have the Moroccan cooking class coming up.
And Indonesian, and so about twice a month we have a cooking class, and right now we're concentrating for the most part on ethnicity or nationalities. So we've done Polish. We had Chef AJ, and he used some of his Indian sauces. And
the sliders.
We have Chef Yono coming. Chef Harold Qualters came and did Irish soda bread with us. And
the Shaker Heritage Museum.
That's right, Shaker Your Plate. Yeah, and these events are sellouts, really.
Right.
We sell out, and it's only $5, and that's
which is a great deal.
Yeah. So you get a demonstration. Sometimes it's hands-on, participatory, and then you get lunch afterwards and get to hang out with whomever the instructors are. And you've been really instrumental in seeing that and growing that program. So what are you cooking for? You're doing the Moroccan, correct?
Yes, we're going to do Moroccan, and so we'll do a vegetarian tagine.
Nice.
And which is it's almost like a stew soup kind of thing that has it'll have cauliflower. It's a tomato-based soup and olives and apricots, and we'll have that over couscous, and then not 100% sure yet what else we'll have. But
stay tuned.
Yeah.
Right? The nice thing about really having a diverse workforce is that so many programs are introduced, things that maybe Colony seniors hadn't done before, and with that level of expertise, such as Caroline's, we've really been so incredibly fortunate. So if you don't get our newsletter, I suggest getting it, and if you do get our newsletter, I suggest reading it. What we find, especially with the cooking classes, is maybe the newsletter goes out, it's a monthly newsletter, and it goes out right at the beginning of the month. By maybe the second or third of that month, these classes are already filled. So please, if you don't have our newsletter, give us a call, 518-459-2857. And extension 302 can probably get you that newsletter set up. What extension are you at Colony Seniors?
I'm 327.
Okay, so 327, if you'd like to speak to Caroline and learn more about our lunch program, can you share your email address for us?
I'm cbarrett@colonyseniors.org.
So remember, all of our programs, we want them open and welcoming, and we'd like you to participate. So on behalf of myself and my colleagues at Colony Senior Service Centers, thank you so much for joining us today.